Arrest in the murders of 4 Idaho college students. Correspondent Evan Lambert has been looking into the background of the suspect, this man, 28-year-old Brian Christopher Kohberger. Evan joins us live from Washington, D.C. with these new details. So, Evan, what all have you been able to uncover?
Well, Nicole, we're starting to get a better picture of Brian Kohberger through online and other records, but also from someone who says that he knew Kohberger, our affiliate in Pennsylvania, speaking with a man who says that some years ago he ran with Kohberger on a regular basis. Listen to his reaction to the news that Kohberger was arrested and charged for these murders in Moscow, Idaho.
I used to go on night runs with him because, like, I didn't want to go running at night by myself. So I would text him, like, hey, you want to go for a run? We'd go for 6-7 mile runs at night. So, like, when I saw who it was, I was just in, like, complete shock. I'm still kind of, like, shaking knowing about that. Like, it's just unreal to think somebody could actually do that to somebody. Like, it's absolutely, like, mind-boggling. Like, my adrenaline's still kind of running after finding that information out. So just, yeah, I feel for the families, and I'm just happy justice can be served now.
Welcome back to my Mental Health and Crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for educational purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho 4. May the 4 victims rest in peace. Condolence to their families, and may the correct justice be served. This young man used to take long jogs or runs with Christopher Kohberger. That's Brian Kohberger. This actually makes sense with the alibi Brian Christopher Kohberger has been given. He likes taking long runs. But the question is, was he actually running at YY Park? Because it was closed at 10 p.m. My question is, if this young man felt so comfortable taking runs with Brian Kohberger and actually calling BK to take runs with him, wouldn't he have sensed that BK is a rare character, or that BK gave him weird vibes? He would have stopped running with him. But he used to call BK to run with him for 6 hours. So the way I look at it, he felt safe to be around BK. And then we have the second person who said she went on a date with Brian Christopher Kohberger. They met on a Tinder app. I wonder if the victims of Idaho 4 were on a Tinder app too. Allegedly. This young woman went on a date with Kohberger in Pennsylvania. She found him to be a bit weird, but he was polite. He texted her that he was leaving. She locked herself in the toilet just to get him out of the house. But the only thing he did was tickle her. Which is weird too, but he just tickled her. He's a tickler, not an unaliver maybe. Or maybe it could be both, but this woman felt comfortable enough to say that she was surprised that BK was accused of the unalivings.
Murder suspect Brian Kohberger was arrested. This woman couldn't believe her eyes.
I recognized him immediately and my heart just sank because I couldn't believe that like I was face to face with this guy.
Nurse Haley Willett says they met on Tinder in 2015 when they were both psych majors at Pennsylvania colleges. He took her to a movie, then insisted on escorting her to her dorm room.
I was kind of afraid to say no, so I just let him come in with me.
Then he did something she says she'll never forget.
He kept trying to tickle me, and I would ask him to stop, or I'd say, "What are you doing?" And he would be like, I'm not tickling you," and he would get very serious.
Creeped out by Koberger, she came up with a clever ruse.
I proceeded to pretend to throw up in the bathroom, hoping that, it would gross him out and he would leave.
Did it work?
Yeah. He had messaged me on Tinder and said that he was leaving and that he had a good time and that he would message me later. And then about an hour later, he messaged me and he said that I had good birthing hips, and just never messaged him back after.
So BK is definitely a weirdo. He texted her and said she had good birth hip. I don't even want to say it. But my question is, he didn't hurt her. And this is a female. He was alone with her in the dorm room. So it just shows me that he's quite comfortable around females. He just does weird things like tickling them, but he's still comfortable around females. The mainstream news media and the police are making it seem to be that BK is the SK or worse. But he has no connections to 1122 Kings Road, and he has no connections to the victims. I wanted to share with you all this picture that I received from a close source. That is allegedly DM being escorted out of 1122 Kings Road after the 911 call was made. We don't see the front of her, but we can clearly see what she had on plaits. I wonder if she changed her clothes. Her plaits look neatly done.
For your time. So this is a new twist. It allegedly comes from grand jurors in the case, but no one is going on a record. What was your initial reaction to this potential bombshell?
As far as this is concerned, it's really difficult to verify whether this information is actually true. So let's go through a little bit of the history of the case. When the news first broke about this terrible, tragic killing, we learned that there were two roommates who survived the attacks who were in the house at the time. Now, at first we heard that they were both asleep. They didn't wake up till the following day. Then hits the probable cause affidavit. Well, the story begins to change. One of the roommates now had this encounter where she sees the assailant in the house that evening. So this is a dramatic change from the information that was set forth in that probable cause affidavit, if it were in fact the case that the two roommates were awake and texting during that time. So what does it mean for the case? Well, that would certainly be contemporaneous evidence relayed in those text messages as to what the two roommates heard and saw that night. Now, again, we haven't verified whether or not this is true, and we likely won't know until the trial actually unfolds. But it would certainly be a game changer for the prosecution.
Well, it certainly would, Misty. And we know that there is, a gag order in this case. That's, a fact that we need to remember. So what happens if someone keeps leaking information, whether or not it's true, and even if they're doing it anonymously?
If the leaker is a grand juror, there are very, very strict rules about what grand juries can say in the public sphere. Now, those rules change jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but Idaho has a similar rule to New York. Grand jurors are not allowed to speak to anybody about the evidence that they see in the courtroom, about the deliberations as far as coming to that conclusion of actually coming back with an indictment. So this would all be completely off limits if in fact a grand juror was leaking this information. And there could be serious repercussions. It could be contempt of court. It could put the whole indictment at issue, depending on the nature of the communication. So,
hi, Heather Roberts with ABC News. Just to follow up on what she asked, so the other two roommates were there at the time of the attack?
All the information that we have from our investigation is that yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That's correct.
So is there any explanation as to why it took so long then for someone to call 911? You have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses. I said they were there. So, you know, we don't know why that call came in at noon and not in the middle of the night. Would we love for that to have happened? Yes, but that's not how it took place. So that's why we're investigating everything still to try to pull all the pieces together.
Heather Roberts with ABC News. Just to follow up on what she asked, so the other two roommates were there at the time of the attack?
All the information that we have from our investigation is that yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That's correct.
So is there any explanation as to why it took so long then for someone to call 911? You have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses. I said they were there.